Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the topic reinforcement learning from human feedback part 2. Already we have discussed the part 1 in the last week. So we will be continuing the part 2 in this video. So before going to the video, I would like to request to the new watchers to please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali, and also please tap the bell icon for latest notifications. And also, I would like to thank to all my subscribers who have already subscribed to my YouTube channel. So let us dive deep into the video. If you remember from our last week, we have discussed that there are 3 steps in the RLHF process. The first step is pre-training a language model, and the second thing is gathering the data and training a reward model, and the third step is fine-tuning the language model with reinforcement learning. So firstly, in the first thing, that is we are pre-training the language model. How we need to pre-train? So this is the biggest thing that comes into our mind whenever you're dealing anything with respect to the language model. First we have to make sure what language model that you are selecting and what are the cost ranges for that particular model. For example, in the last week I have shown you an example of boutique. So first thing is you have to make sure the data that you are inputting to your model, that means the knowledge base that you are building for your bot to function. So in order to do that, you have to make sure whatever the data that you collected cleanly processed and it should be available in order to make the knowledge base for your language model. So this is the thing that you should understand when you're doing the initial training for your model. So this is a language model. So in our example, we have discussed that this language model is a GPT. Of course, there are many models like Claude, Jedi.ai, etc. So in this example, we will be using the GPT model. Okay, so this is a GPT model, and this is your prompt and the text data set. So that means your input data. So whatever the bot, whatever the application or domain that you're working based on your problem statement, you will have your own data set. So that data set is getting inputted to your model. But there is one other step which is called human augmented text, which is an optional. So this is nothing but a by product. That means it's not a byproduct, it's like a intermediate step, what I should say. So this will help easily grasp the language model, like easily understand by the language model understanding language. Okay, but this is the one which is understood by the human. So these are the steps that are involved in the pre-training of the language model. Next, so in the second step, what we have told, like we have to gather data and we have to build a reward model. So what is reward model? So reward model means it is the fundamental model that usually we will do in reinforcement learning process. So if you remember, in the reinforcement learning, there are mainly agent, environment, as well as a reward, as well as action, right? So that means, so whenever you're doing a positive outcome, you will get a reward, and whenever you are getting a negative outcome, then it is nothing but the punishment. So how many rewards that you got, you should repeat those process in order to maximize your success. So that is the main important motto of the reward model. So for example, if you consider this diagram, so this is your prompt data set and you're inputting multiple prompts to your language model, and it is giving the responses, and you have some score based on your question how relevant your responses are. So how many rewards that you got, like if there are more relevant, then you'll get a reward. If they're not relevant and if there is weird responses, then it is not considered as a reward. So once you're done with that, then you will see how many rewards you got and how many failures you have got. And your next motive is you have to maximize your failures, sorry, you have to maximize your rewards and you have to minimize your failures. So in that way you can enhance your reward model. So this is the whole process of building a reward model. And in the third step, what you will do, the third step is about a fine tuning with a reinforcement learning. So as I mentioned, whatever the model that you're building, it does not give 100% accurate result. results, it is very important to fine tune the model. For example, if you consider any data science algorithm or deep learning algorithm, so if you see like decision tree, etc., so first whatever you're doing, you will first check the results for that, and then you will use hyperparameter tuning like grid search CV, random search CV, etc., for improving the results. Similarly, how you will do for such type of problems in terms of language models, there is a process called fine tuning, which is similar, so with the help of reinforcement learning. So reinforcement means again using the reward model. So the steps are like this. So in the first step, you will initialize the pre-trained model and reward model, and then in the second step you have a policy which is defined for your language model, and based on the policy, your model is generating the text for the prompts. And in the third step, you have your action space and all the tokens. So tokens are nothing but whatever the text that you have, so those things are converted, like are break down into pieces by removing the stop word sequence, etc., etc. So that part is called tokens, okay, or nothing but the tokenization. And in the fourth step, you'll have your observation space with all the possible input sequences that you want to input for your model. And in the fifth step, you will combine the reward model score and the policy penalty for making your reward, which is a final reward for your model. So that means whatever the scores that you have, so you will have all those things, and finally you will consider the one set of model which is having the maximized results. For example, if there are 5 models and you have inputted all the 5 models the prompts, and each one is giving their own responses, and you have calculated the rewards, and among these 5 which have maximum rewards than failure, so that model will be selected. See, and in the last step, use final reward signal for people to optimize the parameters. So nothing but it's you'll optimize whatever the parameters that you have used for building that model. You will just optimize those and select the best parameters, and you will select that particular model. So this is the whole process that is involved in fine tuning with reinforcement learning. And in the update model, so it's like you have so many steps I told you, right? So after fine tuning, there are some steps that you have to consider in order to make sure your model is working fine. So for example, like simple example, like you have your Windows version, right? So of course you will have updates like once in at least like 5 years at least, or else if you consider your mobile, so there will be software update within months, right? So similarly, there should be something like which your model should be updated, right? So as we have the policy which I told you in the second step of the reinforcement learning approach, so you have to update your policy of model continually, so that your model you will be updated, and it will have the latest things. It will grasp the latest things and latest versions too. And in this reinforcement learning is very useful even in the robotics side, because you have how how robotics field has been emerging continuously. So by using this reward model, robots have been built up, and even some of the research is going on for further efficient developing of robots by using this reward model and reinforcement learning. So basically, what you will do in the reinforcement learning process is you will collect the new outputs, and you have your new preferences data, and you will update the reward model, and then you will update the policy. So all these steps will be repeated until you have your maximized results. So if you remember in the earlier videos, I have like in the beginning videos I have mentioned that reinforcement learning is all about learning through experiences. So that means you will repeat, do repeat, but whenever you find that this is what this means, based on your understanding, next time if you have the same situation, then you will decide your own decisions. So that is what a reinforcement learning is. So that means you are collecting inputs, you have your own data, you will update the model, you will update the policy, and again you will repeat. So like that, the process will be continuing. So this is what exactly happening in the reinforcement learning. And of course, anything will have challenges, right? So there are some challenges. So the first thing is large scale human preference data is expensive. So as I told, collection of data is a bit challenging, and also if you have large data based on your token size and so on, so think the cost will be varying. And annotated disagreement introduces noises, as I mentioned. So there are some annotators that you should be considered whenever you are building a model. So I'll talk about these annotators in the other video, so that you have clear understanding. So coming to the third point, that is RL optimizer and reward model can be improved. So for that also you have to spend some time, cost, etc. And generated text may still be harmful or inaccurate. So as I told, whatever in real world, you won't get 100% accurate result. So of course there will be some inaccuracies, etc. So that's what we in here is the challenge that is mentioned in our fourth point. So whatever the generated text may still have some harmful and inaccuracies. Okay, so basically for aligning the language models with human values, so we have to face some significant challenges like data collection, optimization, and safety. Because in one of the interview mentioned by Sundar Pichai, the Google CEO, he told like there are very drastic improvements with the help of AI, but of course there is a pitfall, like if you observe how it is behaving, and how harm also it will happen if we cannot preserve, or if we cannot able to maintain security with the data that we have. So how much amount of uh, probability, like amount in the sense probability, how probability of making things happen, the same amount of probability of destroying things is also happening using these models. So always make sure these three things are the significant challenges in RLHF language models by following the by using the language models in the RLHF process. So first thing is collection of data, optimizing, and safety. So if we have these three things successfully accomplished, then it is very easy to have the power packed AI products built using this models. So I hope you understand this video. So we'll be continuing more about the topics and coding challenges in our further videos. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you.